Thank you. The Committee on Natural Resources will come to order. The committee is meeting today to hear testimony on the transformation of Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority, PREPA. Under the committee rule 4F, any oral opening statements at the hearing are limited to the chair and the ranking minority member or designee. This will allow us to hear from the witnesses sooner and help members keep to their schedules. Therefore, I ask unanimous consent that all other members' opening statements be made part of the hearing record if they are submitted to the clerk by 5 p.m. today or the close of this hearing, whichever would come first. Hearing no objections, so order. Without objection, the chair may also declare a recess subject to the call of the chair. As described in the notice, statements, documents, or motions will be submitted to the electronic repository at hnrc.docs@mail.house.gov. Additionally, please note that as with our fully in-person meeting, members are responsible for their own microphones. As with our fully in-person meetings, members can be muted by the staff only to avoid inadvertent background noise. Anyone present in the hearing today must wear a mask covering their mouth and nose. The Speaker of the House and the Sergeant of Arms, acting upon the recommendations of the attendant physician, require face coverings for all indoor gatherings over 15 minutes in length, such as committee meetings. Accordingly, to maintain decorum and protect the safety of members and the staff, the chair will not recognize any member in this hearing room to speak who is not wearing a mask. According to House Rule 17 and Committee Rule 3D, the chair retains the right of recognition of any member who wishes to speak or offer a motion. This right includes the responsibility to maintain decorum. Please note that it is permitted by the Sergeant at Arms guidance. The chair will make exceptions for members briefly removing the mask to facilitate lip reading by viewers who are deaf or hard of hearing. Finally, members or witnesses experience technical problems should inform the committee staff immediately. With that, now I will recognize myself for the opening statement. In May 2019, when this committee held a hearing, the status of the rebuilding and privatization of PREPA, I stated that my primary concerns were determining the best way to guarantee that PREPA would be rebuilt so it can withstand future extreme weather conditions, provide the residents of Puerto Rico with reliable, inexpensive, and clean power, and prevent the displacement of PREPA's workers. Nearly 3 years after the onset of Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and billions spent by FEMA and the Army Corps to turn the lights back on, Puerto Rico's electric grid unfortunately remains fragile and vulnerable, in part due to recent earthquakes that have further impacted PREPA's infrastructure. We will hear today from a diverse group of witnesses who will speak to the issues currently confronting PREPA, as well as if and when PREPA will be able to deliver reliable, inexpensive, and clean power to the people of the island. We can all agree that reform of PREPA is necessary to provide clean, low-cost electricity, but it is the course that PREPA has embarked on. But is the course that PREPA has embarked on the correct one to accomplish these goals? Remains a question. Last year, the government of Puerto Rico adopted a mandate of achieving 100% renewable energy by 2050. Currently, less than 3% of Puerto Rico's energy production comes from renewables. The fact is, however, that PREPA's current contracts with companies who are tied to U.S. natural gas industry and designed only to retool existing infrastructure can only lead to the conclusion that adding sufficient renewables to the grid will be difficult to achieve, to say the least. Lastly, in the weeks leading up to today's hearing, headlines about PREPA, such as the privatization of Puerto Rico's power grid, is mired in controversy, and Puerto Rico's troubled utility is a gold mine for U.S. contractors, suggests much still needs to be done to accomplish the goals that were outlined. Today's hearing will also discuss PREPA's recently announced privatization and long-term concession of its power generation and distribution assets. Questions have been raised about the lack of transparency in finalizing the concession contract with Luma Energy, and PREPA's employee union, Wiltir, recently sued the utility and the government of Puerto Rico, alleging that Luma contract violated local laws. In closing, let me welcome our witnesses and thank them for joining us for this important hearing. The residents of Puerto Rico deserve an electric company that is reliable and efficiently run, does not charge excessive rate, and is operated with a mind towards a future that generates electricity using clean and sustainable renewable energy. It is our intention to do all we can to assist PREPA in achieving these goals. The efficiency, public openness, and reliability are essential to the economic recovery and growth of the island as well. With that, I now yield to the ranking member designee for her opening statements. Hold on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Over the last few years, Puerto Rico has been hit with that expose the precarious and state of our energy infrastructure. In 2017, Hurricane Maria completely destroyed the power grid, and it took almost a year to restore service to every citizen. Early this year, a series of earthquakes in the southwestern region of the island severely damaged and took out Costa Sur power plant, which used to generate approximately 25% of the island electricity and still offline. The transformation of Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority, or PREPA as we know it, is long overdue. We need a modern, resilient energy system that can recover quickly from natural disasters. We need to pursue policies to address high electricity costs that hinder economic growth, including efforts to reduce our dependence on foreign oil imports and to lower environmental impact. And we need to improve management practices to increase reliability and provide better services to our customers. I look forward to hearing from today's witnesses about the steps PREPA and the government of Puerto Rico has